watching the Hollywood Podcast. You're watching the new one live. You're watching the Hollywood Podcast. You're watching the new one live. You're watching the Hollywood Podcast. You're watching the new one live. You're watching the Hollywood Podcast. You're watching the new one live.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Early Watch. I'm Jimmy, and with us, as always, Mr. Tony York.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday in the new America. And happy Veterans Day. Thank you to all the veterans that served.
Yeah. What's up, Oz? I am.
Mikey.
It's not necessarily a new America, though. I mean, we've been here before. Hopefully, he brings us back into a little bit of a better America, though. That'd be nice. Some prices dropping.
There's a pretty big difference in this round than last, because last round he really didn't know what the fuck he was doing, and he didn't know the people he was hanging.
Well, that could be said for before when he was president, too, rubbing elbows with Bushes and Clintons and...
That's what I meant.
And
for.
Bears, oh my. But yeah, I'm thinking that he might... See, that's the thing, though, is that I've always thought this about him, is that I'm hoping that the things aren't just for the camera and for the people, and he's not your typical... I know he's not your typical politician, but typical politician shit where he makes a bunch of lies and then goes back off camera and laughs or something like that. He seems like he's better than that, so I'm hoping that things will go better this time. But, yeah, and definitely not to say he did bad the first time.
Well, I said earlier that I believe Trump genuinely cares what people think about him.
Which would, most likely ensure him doing things for the people. And he seems, in my opinion, for the most part, he seems interested in the future of the country as well.
Well, that would kind of stand to reason, because the country does better, so does he.
Right. Yeah. And his business ventures and everything, all that shit, Because he's not done being a business mogul or, a businessman. He's still going to do his thing, but he's just the president now, too.
The thing that caught me was I think the Democrats were trying to set up the country over the past 4 years with all this division shit to make it to where they never lose another election.
Yeah. Yeah, everybody's just so confused and back-ass words and don't know who to trust or what to believe that they're just going to vote to the best liar, pretty much, which has been the Democrat side. And I'm still standing on my old original comment that I would love to see the two-party system abolished or crushed or killed in some kind of way, but maybe killed is the wrong word. Sorry, FBI, if you're listening. I didn't mean that. Just a joke. But I still stand on that.
We ain't angling for the mass murder of all Democrats in the world.
No, we're not Democrats. So why would we want something that they want? I don't know if they want necessarily murder, but I mean control. I'm sure that some murder would come along with complete control, but
Yeah, well, they have pretty much proven themselves to be absolutely
incompetent, full of shit.
No, full of shit, yes, especially concerning their so-called concern for democracy, when they suggest that after all they did to put Kamala in place, now they want to suggest that Biden resigns and make her the first woman president of the United States in the last, fucking 90 days of Biden's term.
Yeah, that that would just be the most ridiculous shit in the world. And like I said off air, a complete middle finger to the fucking citizenry. Oh yeah, you didn't want her as president? Well, here you go. Which also be on the lookout for a possible fucking assassination attempt.
Yeah, Joe better sleep with both eyes open.
No shit. Him and his clones and his doubles and all that. Yeah, because I don't know.
That was kind of funny. Did you see his concession speech?
No, I started to watch part of Kamala's and I'm like, nah, I'm not here for that.
Oh, his was really odd because he seemed fucking ridiculously happy.
Yeah, I don't got to do this anymore.
And I mean, he is perfectly fucking coherent too.
Oh yeah, the old Joe routine is they're starting to leave that behind now.
Yeah, I think that was clone number 2. The one that can talk.
Yeah, because they did show the one that could walk. I was watching that. They're like, that's not Joe Biden. He was walking and going upstairs like it wasn't a problem.
Yeah, I don't know. This whole left side after loss compendium they've done is just fucking hysterical to watch.
Oh my goodness. The one lady with the nurse scrubs on, I'm like, oh my gosh, who is this lady a nurse for? She was screaming, why do y'all hate me so bad? Like we did this personally to you, bitch. Like,
well, look at the video and that'll answer its own fucking question, bitch.
Yeah. But I was just like, this is a profession. She had scrubs on. Not that, like, I mean, I'm sure that there's some, like, quote, medical jobs that you got to wear scrubs for that aren't super professional. But, like, this lady, she's a professional person.
Yeah, the ones that clean the toilets have to wear scrubs.
Do they?
Yep.
Oh, really? Okay, I didn't know that. See, so yeah.
At least in the hospital my lady works that they do.
Well,
everybody in the place except the administrative staff.
Well, see, that's what I was thinking is that
scrubs.
she could just be in the medical field, but she might just be answering phones or something like, you know what I mean? Like there might not be a nurse or I don't know. I was just shocked. I was like, scrubs, and you're acting like this?
She could be clean toilets too.
Very possible. Very, very possible. The bedpan switcher. But
yep.
That's another thing too. Speaking of like public outrage and public confusion and all that other shit we were talking about off air. And if it's too early to bring this up, let me know. But I am concerned about the document releasings, or the releasing of documents. Excuse my English. I feel like that's just going to cause more confusion. And I was saying this off air as well. I'm not changing my stance on not liking the two-party system. I'm not saying that I still stand on not wanting federal overreach. I'm still standing on everything that I believe in. And I would love to see the documents released. But it's just going to cause more distrust for the government. It's just going to cause more bullshit, especially if they let out like the Martin Luther King documents and all that other shit. It's going to throw everybody through a loop, and nobody's going to know what to believe and who to trust. And I feel like it could make things worse for the population anyway.
It might make some more divisiveness, I think, but at the end of the day, hopefully you can say, so this is what happened. CIA fucking did do it. Lee Harvey was a Pat.
Yeah.
Hey, Patriot.
What's up, Pat? Yeah, you know what? I would love. And oh yeah, by the way, Patriot was the early watch Michigan. I felt like a huge doofus when I realized that because I remember from anyway, it wasn't Squibby and it wasn't Schmeggy. Schmegma.
Hey, beauty.
What's up, Gunpowder? Um, so yeah, I'm concerned with them coming out, but at the same time, I'm ready for it. I can't wait. Like I just because it's especially people like me, conspiracy theorists. I've been saying that the government is crooked and lying to us and all this other shit since before it was cool.
I would hate to see it tarnish Martin Luther King
Yeah, that would suck.
because, as a civil rights activist, he seemed like he was pretty good.
You know,
Uh,
speaking of civil rights, even though it has been out and it has been documented and all that shit, I would love for them, love, especially for the new Democrats that think that the Democratic Party are the ones that aren't racist and are the ones that aren't sexist. I would love for the Lyndon B. Johnson recordings to come out again. Just one more time and like nice little quick refresher on his whole welfare bit. I would love it.
I'm pretty sure that those recordings have been incinerated.
Yeah. They do not exist anymore, but they were out at one point in time.
I know it.
And let me tell you something. If there was ever a fucking psychic medium that I would want to predict my future, it sure would be Lyndon B. Johnson. As racist as he was, I would love him to tell my future because I'll be goddamned if he wasn't 100% right.
Yeah, that. And, back in those days when America was clearly more racist, because, that's facts in the politics, people wouldn't have believed what he did. Some of us may have applauded it, not me. But,
Yeah.
I was fucking 4. But, for him to lay that out like that back then, and you see it fucking 30 years become fact.
Yeah, it's a little bit mind-boggling.
Yes.
Jimmy's coming out. Yeah. I want the world to know. Patriot in the
It's
Dark.
coming out.
Jimmy's coming out? Yeah. I don't know. No, I'm not. I'm staying in this closet for a little while longer.
Yeah,
Patriots.
fucking Trump might hunt your ass down if you come out now.
Hanging.
Okay, let's
Let me
touch on a couple of things.
let me
first.
address this for 1 second first because that's now
Okay.
I'm talking total annihilation of the two-party system. Patriot says in a perfect world you got a third party win for president. What happens next with Congress? They wouldn't pass anything. Perfect world, Congress and there's no more party alliance at all. I want the Democratic Party, not the people, the party to be abolished. I want the Republican Party, not the people, to be abolished. No third party, no first party, no second party, no parties. We run and if
You want
what
the political party system abolished.
completely.
And I could agree with that.
I want if Tony York and fucking Steve Smith are running for president, I want to vote on them because who has the best plan, who lies to me the best, all that shit. I don't want to do it because, well, I'm a Republican and they both suck this year, so I guess I got to pick this one, which I've heard a lot of people say about like mostly ex or still current Democrats that are just kind of like, well, both people suck ass, but at least we know Trump is gonna do something with the economy. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, that lesser of two evils bit was prominent in the 16 election.
oh yeah, that too, yeah, for sure. But I'm just saying, I don't want people. There's a lot of people that just voted Democrat because they were Democrats and they want to vote Democrat. You know, and I
Evidently not as many as they expected.
well, no, But that also, and me and you were talking about this earlier too, that also has to do with people actually getting up and voting this year. I know in your area you said it was a record turnout. In
Yes.
Arizona, my buddy said where he usually goes and votes at that it was packed like he's never seen before. So, you know, people were
Now,
turning
in all
out.
fairness, we swung by and voted after I picked up the old lady at work, so it was 3:30. Usually, I go vote at 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah,
That may have been part of the reason too, but we did have 75% voter turnout. It's ridiculous. High. Normally, on presidential level, it's low to mid 30s.
yeah, yeah. So there's
100% of them a bitch.
about
Yeah, I
30
voted every
votes.
fucking.
Yeah, but that's the thing though too is that I'm pretty sure that had a lot to do with it. Is that most people that would just sit around and bitch about things actually got up and did something about it. Um, that I don't know. I'm happy. I'm most happiest about no more fucking political ads on my YouTube videos.
Well, it's time to put campaign for 2026.
Oh, I could wait. I could wait.
They won't.
Well, for now, I'm getting fucking Manscaped ads and fucking farm ads. For some reason, I got a John Deere ad. So fucking, I'm happy as fuck with all that shit. I don't got to hear about.
Yeah, go with green.
Trump won't close the
Motherfuckers that
loopholes.
want to make it where you can't work on your own equipment.
Yeah.
Thankfully, Biden's government stepped in and said, no, you can't do that shit.
Well, that was funny too, because wasn't there a thing? Wasn't Trump threatening John Deere if they go to Mexico, you're gonna get like a 200% tax on their shit? Well, I hope you guys like John Deere are ready to pay a little extra this year.
That'd be an incentive for Caterpillar to come back into it.
Yeah, no shit. See some bobcats flying around, that'd be tight.
Well, they do make Bobcats. Cat does.
Well, no, I know. I want them.
But they got away from the farming side of it. I never understood why Caterpillar wouldn't turn out a regular fucking farm tractor. They made the Challenger. That was a track thing. So that was a bulldozer with no blade and a rubber track. Why didn't they make something to, match to, like at the time, the 4830 or something from Deere?
Money.
They don't have any issues with reputation because Cat has a good reputation.
I'm pretty sure it's a money thing, man. They don't want to spend any more on production than they have to.
That may be.
What I would figure anyway. I'm really tired of oh yeah, I forgot fucking Mike Oz is fucking he does printing and shit. That had to suck. Print up shit you don't want to print about shit you don't want to, you know what I mean? What's
So
up,
you
DJ?
can't trying to get in there and alter those ads to make them say what you want there, Mikey?
Yeah.
That'd be what I'd be thinking.
Put in some
DJ.
some holographical subliminals or something.
Yeah, like opposing messages watermarks.
Yeah, put a holographic Trump face over Kamala, so when you look to the left, it's him.
Yeah. That would be terrible. Damn, I need a cigarette.
Yeah, have a couple. That's all right. I'm still
Okay, where I was
fall
going
over.
earlier, head in,
Go ahead.
is what the fuck takes you guys out there so long to count shit? Run out of fingers and toes or what?
Count what? The votes?
Yeah. We had our votes all counted before it was done voting. That's efficiency now in Illinois.
Ever since, was it Bush the first one that had to do the recount? Yeah, it was. It was W. Ever since that fucking whole recount thing, and I'm still a firm believer, and it may go further back than that, but I'm still a firm believer that the last four presidents that we had should not have, not counting. I mean, Trump is still not president again yet, but I'm he lost that election. Um, Biden lost his election. Fucking Obama. I think that he had, what was his scandals? Dead people or expired social security numbers, some shit. He had dead people voting for him pretty much. Bush lost that election. I'm just like, what is? That's what kind of got me on the whole "does our vote even matter" kick. Which, I mean, proof is in the pudding. It does, obviously. But yeah, he won this
Yeah,
one fair and
especially
square,
when
and I'm
you,
happy.
win by what they consider to be a landslide.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He was fair and square. I don't think that there was any type of bullshit that they could have pulled on this one. This was, I've heard the word landslide more this last week than I've heard in my life, I think.
There's been a couple of reported cases of people doing shit, but I haven't looked into them to see what it was because I didn't care.
Well, of course. I mean,
I mean, it was indifferent as far as what it mattered to the election.
the
There's always going to be that shit.
well, and I was gonna say, of course, the party that that endorses people lying to themselves and other people and lying to science and all that other shit. Of course, they're gonna be fine with figuring out some way to cheat. Tony loves Kamala. Don't let him hear you say that.
But I don't care.
I said,
20 years ago, I'd let her suck my dick.
shit, I would let her do it tomorrow if I said I made sure
Fuck, too old for me.
Kamala looked a little green. He made sure that she looked a little green on her posters. A little sickly. But yeah, so I don't know. I'm I wouldn't necessarily say that I'm happy, ecstatic happy, but I am definitely contempt at this point. What's up, sexy? What's up? Oh, never mind. That was still Ozzy. Light on
I'm
red, heavy on the blue and yellow.
I'm extremely happy that there wasn't all the bullshit around it there has been before.
Yeah. Yeah, we didn't
You know,
have
even
to.
with Trump,
Go
you know,
ahead.
Trump had a legitimate gripe about the election being interfered with, especially with Hunter laptop information being uh, hidden,
Yeah.
because that probably would have made it ensured that he won. Because there's clear evidence in there that Biden committed crime.
Yeah, and I mean, at the very least, which I agree with you, but at the very least, contributed to crimes being committed by his kid.
Okay, I'll give you that.
But I still agree that I'm pretty sure that there was proof that he was involved. Period. But I don't know. Maybe we'll get that released too. Who knows? Or maybe
But
it got burned like all the MK Ultra documents.
you know, Trump did a bunch of dumb shit back then, like calling Georgia and saying, "You got to find me X number of votes," which, you know, people that knew Trump know what the fuck he's saying.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
he
but I could
wasn't
see.
asking if he got false votes. He was asking to find fucking 200 whatever votes that people cheated on.
Yeah, and but see, that's the thing too, is that I mean, Trump. You got to think though too. Trump is an old school, yeah, celebrity. He's an old school celebrity, so he's probably under the whole no, all press is good press, still. So I don't know, but I
Well,
don't.
and his political career kind of would lead him to think that because he won based on what the press said about him, or the fact that he got spoken about.
Yeah,
I don't know how much in 2016 was people voting for him just to see what would fucking happen.
Yeah. Patriot says Bush, Clinton, Bush, Obama, Biden were all on the inside of the machine. All dynasty without Junior getting shot.
JR.
JR getting shot.
That would be the Dallas reference.
Yeah. But I well yeah they are yeah because what Bush and Clinton were all the that what the fuck was it called, man? The little club that they were in college.
Skull and Bones?
Yeah, Skull and Bones. Yeah, they were I mean all of them were in that. And then I think isn't Biden? Didn't they do a DNA on Obama, and he's like related to the royalty in some kind of way or something like that? The Brits.
Him and Bush both are related.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're like 4,000th cousin.
Yeah. Well, I was watching the thing. I don't know how true it is because I wasn't able to actually find any evidence of it or like an actual like where you the original evidence of it. But I was watching a thing where they were saying like all the presidents have relation to some kind of royalty back in the day or up until now type shit. So I don't know.
That wouldn't surprise me that much. I mean, at some point we all go back to Noah.
Yeah. But that's the thing though, is that I'm pretty sure that listen, I've said it before, I've been ignored, but I'm pretty sure that this was all some kind of a ruse. And I don't know where all the lying to everybody started at, but it certainly seems to me like the European countries or continents and came over here and conquered, and that was it. America belongs to the UK, Canada belongs to the French, and the southern American states belong to Spain. That's my point of view, though.
I don't know. Britain joined the EU before they realized they fucked up, and we didn't.
Yeah. Well, I think this is a secret. I don't think it's something that they want people to know. But, who knows? Broody
It's
is...
funny the shit transpiring on the global stage politically after the election, like European Union starting to decide to buy their fuels from us instead of Russia or some of the others in the Middle East. Natural gas for sure.
Yeah.
Now the question I suppose is how quickly will shit like the Keystone Pipeline projects and stuff like that Trump can start by just signing a fucking executive order, how much will that pump up the economy quickly?
Yeah.
I think it will move the economy fairly quick based on just people, people believing that it's going to get better will make it start.
Well, that's where the whole belief thing gets dangerous, man. That shit
I know it.
It gets dangerous. What's up, Gizzard?
Night Strike.
Gizzard. Haven't seen you in a while, Gary. Strike. Haven't seen. He said, "No, I'm starting to sound like E Honda." Peace out, sexy. Yeah. I don't. It's a dangerous thing, man. Because I mean, especially if you look at what's going on now and people believing that they're other genders and believing that everyone is special and important and all that other shit.
But this particular form of belief is a little bit different. This is just more hope.
Well, yeah, but you see how it's still. People put their belief into a government or into a person or into a party, and technically I'm in the argument pit right now. Well, technically you could go into general if you want to, Strike. Come on in. Do I drag you? I think I don't got anything locked, so if you want to come in. It's, Trump won. I don't care. Everybody. I think I got a join link in the Discord. I don't know how
Well,
pleased
that's
about
been
it.
in there back.
Yeah, since I started this thing back up.
There.
There. What's up?
I was not bothered by it until right now.
Thanks, Tony. I missed you too, man.
Yeah. Love you, man.
Yeah.
I didn't want to jump in without an invitation, you know?
No, that's fine. But that's why I got the join link in the description. I just don't think anybody reads the description.
I do. But that just says join in to your Discord. That doesn't say jump into the show. That's two different things.
Nitpicking Night
Hopefully
Strike
you
back
get into
again.
the Discord and see
I'm
Yeah,
just
so-
joking. So what's going on,
So-
man?
so-
How are you celebrating this new Trump city?
I've been celebrating hard, man. You know, it's like let me, since I'm here, I mean, can we go over a recap real quick? Could you tell me how you guys feel about how the elections went this time?
I'm very happy. I'm very happy we didn't have to have recounts and Russians weren't involved and no fucking the word landslide. I believe I just said this a couple minutes ago that I haven't heard the word landslide this much in my entire life as I have this last
Right.
week. So
Well,
I'm
pe-
pleased.
we always hear about the blue wave, and then we tried the red wave, that didn't work. But this time we got the red tsunami.
The
I
red
mean,
Trump
in
zombie.
Republican terms. No, we got a Trump nami. There we go.
Oh my gosh.
But I'm happy that it's over and all those political ads are gone and we can get back to doing our own thing.
Amen.
You know, one of the funny things to watch about the last few weeks of the election cycle was to watch the crossover, people who abandoned their party going to the other side. We got Elon Musk, Tulsi Gabbard, and who the fuck was the other? Kennedy. They got Dick Cheney and his daughter.
Yeah, I mean,
We didn't fucking like either one of them here.
And Dick Cheney, well, he's his own worst enemy because he shoots his friends in the face.
The
I mean, I was just waiting to use that one, by the way.
it's been expired since the second show, Beauty. You just got to go into the Discord and just click on because you can click right into the live
Well,
chat.
I
link.
think we may need to refresh the link. That's it.
I'm gonna do that in a uno momento. I think.
I mean,
but
we can
that's-
just
Fuck,
post-
nobody ever wants to come in here.
That's the least of our worries, though. Right now, I'm just, I guess, kind of to answer your question more in detail, Strike. I'm elated. Don't get me wrong, but I'm also
Right.
concerned. I still have that level of concern just because of the
Well,
idiots running
you're gonna
around
have
in
that concern because picking your president is picking the lesser of two evils. They're both still evil. It's just it's better the evil you know than the evil you don't because you know what they stand for, and it's absolutely opposite of what you do.
Right, yeah. But see, and that's another thing too, is that we shouldn't be picking the lesser of two evils. We should be picking the best
The
person
better
for the job.
the best person for the job. Well, I hate to say it, but in this instance, the guy that we elected president is probably the best person for the job.
Well,
Here,
between
let-
the
let
two,
me-
for
let me-
sure. For sure.
Let me break it down to you. They spent 20 months investigating him with the FBI, 400 subpoenas, 500 witnesses, and they still couldn't find anything on him and find anything to grill him to the wall with.
Oh, and
So
they tried.
He
he's
is the
literally
most
got to be the
vetted-
cleanest person in politics,
He's the most vetted
gating him with the FBI.
political person we've had in the United States. That's for goddamn sure.
Yeah. So, I mean, is he the best for the country? We don't know. We'll find out. Okay.
Let me ask
But-
you this, Jimmy.
Yes.
Who do you think would have been a better one for the country?
Nobody running. Nobody running. I definitely wouldn't go for
Quit
RFK.
qualifying it with that shit. Who do you think would have been better?
I mean, if you
Yeah,
want
give
to
a name.
me, fuck. Nah. A lot of people. But at the no, you know what? I take that back. Not a lot of people. I don't think that there's really. Yeah, no, I don't think so. Nothing. Nothing.
I came to that realization too, man. Because I've said all along I don't particularly like Trump.
I mean, I wasn't happy with what he did in his first term, but the Supreme Court fixed that. So, he doesn't have to do it again.
Hey, Pomade, he's out there too. What's up, Pomade? Almost missed you.
Yeah. So putting that aside, you're not going to love your candidate ever. Okay. It's not going to happen. It's just, who would you rather see in office as opposed to the person who's going to dick you over and screw you hard.
Right. Can I pose to you guys a question? Whoever answers first is first. But if, let's just say in a hypothetical, there was two candidates running, and the Republican candidate proved himself to be retarded, close to it. A Kamala, let's just say, useless, incompetent, and the Democrat seemed to be the better one. Would you switch parties just for that one time, or would you still vote Republican?
I did in Clinton's second term.
Here's the thing, with the way our voting system works, you don't necessarily always have to vote for your party.
Well, yeah.
Even if you are a registered Republican, you can be registered Democrat, an Independent, Green Party. You can be registered under any party in the country, but you don't have to vote only your party. You can vote for whoever you think is the best candidate for the job.
But would you do that?
That's the beauty of our voting system.
I did do that.
Exactly.
I voted for Clinton's second term.
Would Night Strike do that though?
I mean, well, I wasn't old enough to vote for Clinton's second term.
Fuck Clinton. But, I'm saying if it happened
I was old enough to vote for Bush's second term, and I voted for Bush. So what was that to say? But because I did that because his first term, the assault weapons ban expired, and he didn't pursue it to be renewed. So I figured that was good enough.
I mean, I agree. Early Watts Michigan is out there, and he says Mr. Trump is totally different than his first term, and I can 100% agree with that.
Oh yeah, now he's got experience in dealing with these shady politicians. He knows what to expect now.
Whether you want to believe it or not, Trump was absolutely lost when he came into office. He had no idea what the fuck he was doing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And he had a lot of bad things inherited. I hear a lot of Democrats saying that he inherited the economy and he inherited a lot of good shit, but I feel like he inherited a lot of extra work to do.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of the agreements he had with the Democrat side in the White House, they dicked him over hard and didn't uphold their end of the agreement.
Yeah.
And then vilified him.
Trump touts himself as a deal maker, which should serve him well to be president.
Well, he is a deal maker, but the problem is, unfortunately, with deals the way they are, you can't always expect the other side to follow the agreement if it's not written down.
That's kind of what I'm saying. When he walked into political office in 2016, he was fucking completely over his head.
Yeah,
I won't argue, but he learned.
He did.
He learned enough to be better now.
Yeah.
And I honestly don't think that he did too bad of a job the first time around.
I mean, there's only one or two things I wouldn't have done, honestly. But, that's okay. The Supreme Court fixed that.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. So, but I will tell you this. Now, instead of the NRA, he's actually got some real decent 2A advisors now instead of the NRA.
Yeah. Yeah, Ozzy, that's
The
what
NRA
makes
was
me
a good
laugh.
reason he won.
That's what makes me laugh is he says Oz says the Obama economy was crap, and that's what makes me laugh is when I hear people like, well, oh, everything was great under Obama and Trump just made it
No, it
worse, and
wasn't.
like, get the fuck
No, it
out of
wasn't.
here.
Yeah, all those idiots that are saying that shit were living in their mom's house then. And they were paying the bills.
yeah,
Not her mom was paying the bills.
Yeah.
that part. But
Overall,
I
I
was
think
working
we're
three
headed in the
fucking-
right direction. It's just we'll see what happens, and I hate to say this to everybody out there listening, but if you don't think we're going in the right direction, you know what I'm going to tell you? Call your legislators, let them know you don't like the direction they're headed in, and tell them to turn around and stop. Or if they don't listen to you, get out there and run for office yourself.
yeah,
Do something
Those-
to help the situation instead of just complain, because just complaining gets us Democrats.
The economy during the Obama administration is what had me working 3 fucking jobs to support my family.
yeah, no
Right?
shit,
Yeah.
no shit.
And I don't say that to be mean. I just say, like, listen, I call, I write, I even email my senators and my representatives all the damn time, whether they want to hear from me or not. Yes, I still get the same old BS responses, but hey, that's how it works.
Well, yeah, because eventually, if enough people do the same thing, and
Enough people are bothering them about the same damn issue,
right,
that'll get them off their ass to go and do something.
exactly.
DJ, all you got to do is just type in early watch. And Discord, that's the server.
I can drop a link in the for the Discord, a new Discord link in the YouTube chat. So give me a second.
I just put one in there. The Capitol switchboard 202-224-3121 can connect you with all federal offices.
Exactly. Thank you, DJ.
Oh, and he's got the link to
That's
the
about
Senate
the
page.
only compliment I ever gave Dick Durbin was the fact that he answered my letters when I wrote him, and I believe he answered them personally.
Yeah.
Mm.
I could believe it. But see, the thing is, I don't know how you guys are doing out there. I know that this is probably more closer to a West Coast thing, but we're getting a lot of, in Nevada and Arizona, a lot of Californians coming in and kind of...
Yeah, because them vote them. I'm going to tell you this right now, because Jimmy, you're not originally from the Arizona area or even the Nevada area.
No. I'm
Okay.
from the worst place to probably be.
Chicagoan.
Yeah.
I'm originally from Phoenix, so I can tell you the reason right now, because I have family that live in California that complain all the damn time.
Yeah.
You know why? You know why all the Californians are leaving California?
Because it fucking sucks. Everybody knows that.
Well, besides that, it's the factor that a lot of Democrats are leaving and going elsewhere because, well, they've ruined the country so badly that they cannot afford to live in those big cities they live in anymore. They can't afford it because they've ruined the country ruined the state by going and voting for the wrong candidates time after time after time. And those candidates' policies have literally made it unlivable in that state if you're not part of the elite.
Right.
I was pleased to see California voters did that Proposition, 36? Where they can no longer just catch and release people or let them run for theft like under $1,000 or whatever that stupid shit was. Petty crime stuff had to be actually prosecuted now.
Mm-hmm.
And
Didn't they do that?
much more of California's map is red.
Didn't they do something like that in Illinois too, or close to it? No,
Well,
I'm thinking about the cashless bond thing. Never mind. I'm thinking about how they just let
What?
every
Yeah, no,
criminal
you're thinking about
go.
cash
Similar-
bond.
It's a similar idea, but in Illinois, it's still in effect. California, they just voted it out. Said, no, we ain't having that shit here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, did you see the election map of California?
Yeah, it's mostly red.
It's mostly red, except for the
Beach.
coastal city areas that all the Democrats reside in.
It's a shame too, because California would be a great place to be if it ain't burning or shaking and shit.
I mean, if they could fix the problems of California, Southern California is actually not that bad as far as climate. It's kind of like Arizona, but you have the coast as well. So
All
it's
right,
a
let
little
me.
better.
Something dawned on me here in the past week or so that I wanted to bring up here.
Go for it.
It seems to me that the Republican Party and the Democratic Party have flipped again. We are doing the type of things that the Democrats were doing 20 or 30 years ago.
Well, if you go,
And they're doing what the Republicans were doing 20 or 30 years ago.
well, go back further. Let's go back further. 40 or 50 years ago, the Democrats were all for guns. They were all for gun rights, and
That's what the fuck I'm talking about.
now they don't want any guns.
Well, that switches. Like I said, it's pandering pretty much. Long story short, they're pandering for votes.
I get the idea for the pandering, but it does seem to me like the whole fucking party platforms have reversed.
I mean,
initially we started out about the way we are right now. The Republicans were more of the way they are now than they were, past 100 years. And the Democrats have become more like the Republicans of the past century were, more about elites and shit like that, wanting taxes and. Well, the Republicans have always been kind of anti-tax.
Well, it stems from the ideologies of the party, switch over time.
That too.
Yeah, that's the ideology has switched.
Yeah, I'll give you that. I'll give you that one, Tony.
Trump fucking did that.
Yeah. No, well, you also have to figure that in this current election, how many let's call them moderates, okay? How many moderate Democrats do you think voted for Trump too? Because their party has gone so far left, they're almost the Republican at this point.
I found it really entertaining to see the moderate Democrats come out after the election was called, talking about how fucked up that far left side of the party has gotten them.
Yeah.
I'm like, why didn't you come out and say this shit before the election? You might have helped yourself.
It's bad when the moderate side of your party votes against you.
Early Watch Michigan says, for those moving in from California, please stop at Roberto's and picking up 2 carne asada burritos. Give me 2 seconds here, fellas. We got 2 new guests in. We got DJ Play Nice and we got Gunpowder Beauty. Let's let them get a couple words in edgewise here, because since we like to argue back and forth. Go ahead, guys.
Ladies first.
Well, thanks for opening the Discord so I could jump in and harass you fellas.
Well, we love it. We brighten up our day just a little bit.
Well, don't.
Hell, it's been open since we started the show back.
Don't tease us with a good time.
You know I love you, even though I throat punch you a couple of times.
Yeah, I do. I love you too.
Well, if you guys don't mind, I kind of want to go back when Night Strike was railing about, and California was the topic. It was started that discussion. That apathy thing that, oh my gosh, the big cities went Democrat. How in the fuck is that a surprise? And if it's not a surprise, as most of us think, exactly, Night Strike, well then how about this? What's the solution? You offered one, but what's a reasonable way to flip? I'm going to talk about Nebraska. 2 counties went blue, both of the cities. And in Nebraska, that's Omaha and Lincoln. Lincoln's the state capital. So those 2 decided to go Democrat. I would love to be able to do more than I have done, but not much has worked so far. So alternative ideas to the whole, call your representatives, call your senators. The link for the Supreme Court is there. I threw that out. If you want, I can throw out the complaint number for the White House, a direct dial number.
I'll bet
So-
that fucker's busy.
What? The Nebraska state government doesn't have a complaint line too?
I'll look that up, man. For sure. If you'd like me to. Actually, the links. Actually, if you call the Capitol switchboard, they'll give you the national offices, and if you call the Capitol building, I think I'll put that number in there for you too. I know you were joking a little bit, but and I'm not trying to attack you, Night Strike, at all. But for
I
the
get what
panel,
you're saying. Well,
right?
I mean, the only way you're going to change someone's mind, unfortunately, is if they have a more open mind and they're more receptive to having an actual civil conversation. And the problem is, you could go and hold like town meetings or events where people can just talk, and that's really the only way you can start any sort of dialogue. But at the same time, if people go that aren't going to be swayed one way or the other, you're never going to sway their opinion or sway their view of thinking.
Okay, wait a second. The first part. Sorry, Tony. I want to say that. I want to get back to Night Strike. Yes, and at the tail end. No, I'm sorry, Tony. Just go ahead. My bad. I should have been paid.
You're all right. Two suggestions on how to switch people. One, make them fucking lose for about 4 decades. Or 2, make the economy perform so well that they absolutely cannot deny it.
Yeah, both of those. Yeah, I mean, I'm with that for sure. And if anybody else out there in the chat too, I'll tune back into that and drop some more links. But Night Strike, back to the point you made. Not going to change their mind, sort of thing, or not going to change their vote, not going to change their mind.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that I agree with you for the most part on not being able to sway somebody. It's not sway, change somebody. But what I want to do and what I do, and Tony, thanks for the suggestions. Let's get some more. It at least plants the seeds, Night Strike. If it is that civil conversation, but they don't want to change, and they're go fuck yourself by the end of it, you still have the seeds planted for those things. I've done the same thing with Second Amendment issues. I've done the same thing with the 4th, the 10th, and the 1st. And if you do plant those seeds, they might become conversations at their dinner table. And so, but I want to find those positive things. And Tony, that shit's hilarious. You're right, man. But, and there's a part of it that it's amusing, and it really shouldn't be. That question shouldn't even exist. In my opinion, but I pass it back. I'm not trying to be contentious and shitty. So
I suppose the first thing that we might do is look into why the fucking cities turn that way. That's something that I really don't have an answer for.
Mm-hmm.
Because like here I have Chicago, and Chicago is surrounded by red in Illinois. And the whole damn state's red except where there's a city at. Yet we're always blue.
It's like that in every state.
Right. I get that. Cities. But why?
Guess it's easier to brainwash someone than you think. Especially when you have the media doing it for you, for 4 freaking years.
That just gave
But you bring up media.
Go ahead.
You bring up media. Why aren't we using social media? Everybody has sat there and somewhat, especially this new generation, has had their brain reprogrammed to where they can only keep their attention span for 7 minutes most days anyway. Why aren't we not only sending the emails and the letters and all of that, but posting it on social media to get even more attention out there to know, okay, here's this paper trail or social media trail of this topic that I want to get to whatever politician's eyes or put it in his thought. There's TikTok and all of these other apps that I know a lot of people don't like, but you've got to look at the kids. And these politicians, most of them have kids. And if you're able to bring up talking points to discuss at the dinner table in a 7-minute video or 2 minutes, whatever TikTok allows, or Facebook Reels or YouTube Shorts, miscellaneous things like that, be able to bring conversations to the dinner table. So not only are the parents being involved, but their kids are bringing topics to them also.
I'll tell you something. I think that Joe Rogan is going to change how people view the media as far as quote unquote news.
He has a ridiculous number of followers, and that's cross-platform. And GPB, not only is it good to hear your voice, but that's a great idea. And I myself I want to take your advice, but I don't have a TikTok account, and I kind of don't have a TikTok account for a half shit reason. And it's the same way on a couple of others. But here I am saying I do all this, and I don't have TikTok. Like that's
Well, a lot of people don't like TikTok, but it was more of, there's all these options for social media. Why can't we utilize a couple of them to sit there and kind of get those discussions started at home? I mean, with my kids, there's no topic off limits. My kids have questions, and I have to figure out how to answer them. Thank goodness there's Google. But there's some topics I am not ready to have with my children, and I've already had to have uncomfortable conversations. And so they know if they have a question, mom is going to figure out the answer. If I don't know it already, we will figure it out together. And then we will discuss it to see how we feel about that. And yeah, there's a lot of uncomfortable conversations, but there's a lot of conversations that most 8 and 10-year-olds don't even think about. And when we were voting, I had my kids involved, and I wanted them to know this is something, I don't care who you vote for. I just want to know that you are putting in the thought and effort of who's going to be effective, who's going to run this country efficiently, who's going to put American people first. Don't give a crap about the countries that hate us. Why are we funding them? Let's focus on the American people and the Americans that have sat there and fought and died for this country. That's who needs to be put first. And if they can sit there and tell me why their candidate is the best option, then go for it. Vote for whoever you want. I just want them to use their mind and not be sheep when they do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And GPB, one of the things is that you have to be, even if it's Google, you have to be versed when you're in those conversations because you never know who you're going to run into. One of the things I've advised other people to do is find one thing, one issue, and know everything you could possibly know. And I've agreed. I'm going to get a TikTok. I don't know how much I'm going to use it, but I'm going to do that little thing where I dip the toe in the water sort of thing. But yeah, having that central thing. And another idea that I have based on some other things, and it just pops into my head, we could have, I'll just say people trains to other social platforms, and within those on separate channels kind of thing. I don't think it would do any good for the ones that have 1,000, 2,000 people in the chat, obviously. But on YT, every once in a while, if we looked at some of those other channels, and you have a member train that comes in, anybody that's part of your crew, and you go in and you start to participate in the text chat sort of thing. Now, I know that's a little far flung, but I think, and thank you for the inspiration on this, GPB, I think that kind of thing would work. I will think about the mechanics of it. Today, I'll do that because I got a lot of free time right now. And you're right about kids. You're right about conversations.
Well, yeah, absolutely, and it's so much harder though now too with the schools just throwing so much confusion out there to these kids. And I think it was Oz and saying the education system in big cities are so bad that people don't do the homework and believe the lies. It's just so much easier for a kid to take whatever their teacher or whoever says at face value and just take that as the truth, kind of like how people were. Mostly Democrats reading their news from Facebook and taking that as fact, even though most of it ended up being false.
I've seen a disturbing trend of students not ever getting homework. Their homework is to be done at school, so there's never the opportunity for their parents and them to interact about homework, which a parent really should be keeping a sharp eye on what their kids are being taught.
Well, yeah, the homework.
Yes, sir.
Listen,
Here's
as a mom, I'm gonna tell you, there's days that I am so thankful these brats do not have homework because I don't know how we would fit that into our schedule after coming home. You've got sports, you've got to make dinner, you've got to sit there and get bath time routines, and it just gets a lot when you're having to throw homework into the mix. But the days that they do have homework, we kind of all sit down and we have one child working on their homework, the other child's working on their homework, and then of course we have the toddler. And so you give him a dry erase marker and a dry erase board, and he's pretty content. The worst thing that's going to happen is he's going to draw on himself. But as parents, you just kind of have to figure it out. But sometimes schools just make it really complicated for parents.
understanding that, and having two parents that were teachers and having gone 3/4 of the way through an education, through a teaching degree. Okay, when we're talking about flipping, saturating, it can't happen until the states get to that certain point. And people will recommend in chats and other places and spaces will do something like join your, run for city council, run for a county office, run for those things, sort of deal. It's the same fucking thing with school boards. And to like do a quick address to the thing about it, schools, not that I think it was Ozzy's comment, and that is curriculum. Curriculum is now established, and the trend has gotten huge to the point where Texas and California decide how textbooks are done. Now, I know it's a virtual thing these days, but it's the same programming. It's the same, Houghton Mifflin, all the fucking companies that print textbooks. And the reason that's happened, I don't know. How can Texas, like a red state, you understand the California thing, it's not population specifically, but it's other factors too. And who knows what those factors are? I don't know what those discussions are. I'm not in that fucking boardroom. But if you do the things like go to the school board meetings, we're not going to take this. I mean, we all enjoy the clips where, Facebook or YouTube short or whatever, where we see somebody walking up to the front and being just like, there was a guy, pissing in the girls' bathroom. That's not acceptable. I invite you right now. I saw one the other day. I invite you right now to take your husband and you come with us and we go to the men's room and I will stand there and watch you pee. And your husband, what's he going to think of that? Finding those kind of inroads. I found this, that, somebody brought the homework for that. I'm not going to tolerate this, all of those things. And, I'm a person, I don't have kids, but I can still go to those meetings. And I know I'm like railing on this. You got to do this. You got to go do this. But even that, I'm just trying again to plant those seeds, like I was saying with Night Strike. You go there at city council meeting and you give that example, there's got to be at least one person who's going to take that to the dinner table. Can I pause?
No, yeah, I could definitely see that. But the thing is, though, is from what I've seen from just the past, is that usually one person saying something is either going to get them looked at and ostracized. And what really helps is when people kind of have their complaints coming in at not only with the same complaint, but in droves. It's going to have to be multiple people for I understand about planting the seeds, and that is a very plausible thing, but I also see those seeds getting ignored if it's not kind of a majority type of thing, which is why
I
need
get
other
that,
people involved.
Yes, sir. And the more people you can add to that, I want to go back to that social media train. Sorry, Jimmy, and I'll pass it back to you.
No,
If you're bringing 20, 30 people with you in a YouTube live or something like that, you could do the same thing as at those city council meetings, at those school board meetings. You got your buddies after work, you go grab a beer. Well, how about on the night they have that? It's like, go home, get your dinner, and let's meet here. Whatever those are, your gun club. And I know, and GPP is absolutely right that, the speed of life right now is insane. There's so many things we're supposed to do now. There's so many things that grab our attention. There's so many distractions kind of thing. But I'll go back to this and reframe, and then I'll pass it on again to Jimmy here. And that is, it's incredibly hard to establish that. But if you don't try, we're not going to succeed, sort of thing. And you know, an individual out there, even in the text chat or anywhere else, they might be the I'm not that person. That's cool. So find 3. So it becomes this ragtag group, whatever the fuck it is. Hopefully it would develop that much more. And now we got another 4 years. Let's talk about the Trump thing being great right now, but what happens in that into the next election cycle? What do we plan to take care of there? What's the strategy we're going to use that's new? What's the examples? What are the examples that we can set? If you pull all these good ideas from everybody that we know, kind of thing, and you start that push early, well, then there are a fuck of a lot less. Well, but kind of thing. I don't, you know, I want that positivity, man. You know, regardless of what it is. Anyway, Jimmy, back to you.
Well, no, and that was kind of my point too. Is like I said, the planting the seed thing is a very, very plausible idea, and I think that it's a good one. And that's what you were just saying right now is what usually stops people. It's like, well, I can't get this, and then one person isn't going to make the change, and you know, and that's what I kind of the thinking pattern that I want to kind of obliterate.
Yeah, one person doesn't make the change, but when you got millions of one person,
that part.
It eventually makes a change. Just look at the last election.
Absolutely.
Yes. So how did that happen? Maybe we take some of the lessons from that. Maybe we take some lessons from, you know, a county kind of thing. I've gone to my city council meetings, you know, my testifying in front of, you know, testifying, whatever, you know, speaking in, you know, in address. I wrote emails okay. Nebraska started this thing where they're limiting spaces to and you can't even carry on government property. So it's not just a courthouse going in, you know, go back to your car, put your fucking piece in there. They were doing it. That includes city parks. And I get that. And, you know, but it's almost as if the school zone idea, there's where I'll go with it. The school zones, we're used to that. Now move them to the playground in your neighborhood. Now move them to this place, move them to that place, go the DMV. You know, all these places suddenly become gun-free zones. And whoa. I'm like, no, you guys got to do that, and I'm so fucking happy they passed that shit. But now, pause, Night Strike. Yeah, we do, and it sucks. So you know, that's another thing, but that's for open carry, and you know, but back to this one, that's a kind of thing where that can change some minds. I think that's a damn good one, and there have been enough things to get that overturned. Last year, it was a big, steep, you know, sliding downhill. Hold on, like I'm trying to grab anything I can. It's all fucking slippery and, you know, covered with ice or oil or whatever. I can't find purchase for those things. But, you know, Jimmy, that people thing and that apathy thing and that whatever thing, I think that sort of thing would be awesome. You know, if you have a mass, and I'm not going to give the Black Panther example, but again, if you get a whole bunch of people who show up for a mass arrest event, why not? As long as it's a misdemeanor, right? You know, and not a compound misdemeanor, because you can get fucked in some states and locales for that. Mm-hmm. But if I dragged, and I tried to get as many of my friends as possible, now they have the meetings in the county building, and you got to walk through, you know, past all kinds of security. So I wasn't, you know, trying to do anything there. But what if it's just 30 people outside and they're standing there and they decide to walk into the building together? Okay, if it's a misdemeanor, you want to take that hit? Most people will drop off. They don't want to have any trouble with the law. So stay outside. Right on. But stay outside. Well, hold on, Night Strike, because I would be one of the people. I could lead that shit. I don't want to do it by myself. I don't want to, you know, I don't want to do it by myself, and I'll stop there. I also don't want to be the only one on the inside who's getting the attention from the fucking sheriffs, and here I am in cuffs or some shit like that. I don't mind being the guy shaking his fist in the air and saying, fuck you. I would do that. But I want that support from my fam. I need fam there. Because there's no coverage of it if it's one guy, unless I try to run through the goddamn thing and all this other stuff. And they tackle me and I fucking punch them. I'm not losing my gun rights. I'm not going felony here. I won't. if I have a choice, sort of thing. But that's the kind of, and why not? GPB, it was about 2 years ago, but we've had the conversations where if they're on a corner with their fucking signs, we're on the other corner. Why not? And I get the people who their apathy is reinforced by the fact that we have lost, apparently, the ability to use these things, not the methods I'm talking about, but to, and the vote in itself. People just want to walk away from it. So, how about that idea in GPB? You were one of them. It's like, get the television station there. You call the television station and you say, you can even go semi-inflammatory. You get to be anonymous for that shit. Okay, sorry. What's that?
Gizzard Gary has a point out there. Be careful with mass arrest protests. Look at what the bastards did to the J6 protesters. They will completely spin it to make you look like a criminal
or like a crazy person. I get that. Gizzard Gary does have a good point for that. I want to flip the coin on that one. Black Panthers marching to the courthouse with weapons and leaving them on the steps. To me, that's a powerful thing. Now, that was because of their band, it's because they were actually complying with the law. But they made that effort to show other people enough that it's part of what I learned. That's not something somebody told me, all raggedy, kind of thing, or it didn't come to me in the middle of the night. And so that's kind of the way I was thinking about that. But hell yeah, Gary's right, man. And I wish it wasn't. So how does that change? I am standing with my fist, screaming at the clouds sometimes. I'm that, now I'm an old guy. So I'm shaking my fist, kind of thing. Yeah. And you will get ignored. Yeah.
My fucking lawn.
There you go. And how about if it was? I mean, think about that thing. When that guy did that, St. Louis, I believe, it's the get off my lawn thing. We all know that one now. We all have used it, likely, and we can use it with humor now. But what if we had a catchphrase like that because of some news event or some mass protest or whatever, and that caught fire? And the thing about TikTok, the thing about YouTube, the thing about any of those things, how do we create the viral videos? How do we get 30,000 views in 2 hours, 100,000 views by tomorrow? And actually, if we use nudity, you can grab some attention. How do you grab it?
Some crazy shit. Somebody, hey, we got to jump 5 cars, and something like that. Doing it for our gun rights.
Evil Knievel is like, Second Amendment is, clears Caesar's Palace or some shit. But Jimmy, that's actually, with humor, that's a good fucking idea, that kind of thing. How do you stir up that much attention that's positive, that avoids some of the issues and the claptrap that comes with the stuff attendant to Gary's point? And guys, I need to let you guys talk. I'm jazzed. I haven't been on a live talking about this stuff in a long time. I don't want to hog the mic. And Tony and Jimmy, thank you for being here. You are a place where people gather. You went double digits today. I show 8 in the chat right now. That's you're allowing the conduit. So I appreciate that. I will mute and let's go.
No, we definitely appreciate you too, DJ. But that's kind of the origin of the Early Watch. We were supposed to be a place where everybody could kind of get together. We should, all this shit too that we've been talking. I think we might bring back earlywatch.com and maybe just have a nice little place where we could have shit like all those numbers, all those links to the Supreme Court, to the White House, to the, all that shit. Somewhere where people could just kind of, you need somewhere to look for links, or you need something to kind of go back and reference something. And I think we should bring that back. And I think I'm going to go.
We need to discuss doing this more than one day a week.
I know.
Because it's been a long damn time since the election.
That is true.
Granted, I got lots of fucking shit to think about and talk about from the election and after the election. There were a lot of funny shit.
Yeah. The meltdowns were the ones that stick out in my head.
Yeah.
If you want to reach the mind,
The guy screaming poor directions.
YouTube, Instagram, mostly even X. They are on TikTok and other platforms. Yeah, I think that's where DJ was going too with the how do we make it actually viral, where we can get millions of views or hundreds of thousands of views or bring back the state channels. Oh yeah, early watch Kansas. Yeah.
All right, speaking of that, X especially, how much do you think Musk influenced this election?
Ooh, good question. Good question. And Rogan. Got Rogan in there too, but sorry for the interruption.
No, you're not interrupting at all. But you're right about the Rogan thing though, because I mean, wasn't he pretty much all the way on the left a year ago, 6 months ago, something like that?
He was a liberal, but he wasn't a leftist.
Okay.
He was more of a moderate.
But he leaned liberal.
But as far as you're right, Jimmy, and it was lean that way for stuff. Oh shit, I lost my thought. Go ahead.
About how Rogan was leaning kind of liberal and then totally took a right turn. Maybe.
Well,
yeah,
Rogan
I gotta redevelop my thought.
Go for it.
Rogan hasn't went fully conservative or anything. He's still fairly liberal.
Well, see, my definition of liberal has always been do whatever you want to do. I don't give a shit. Like I don't care what other people do. That's always been my view on it, and that's kind of
Rogan.
Go ahead.
Rogan quote said, "Do what you want to do, as long as it doesn't harm somebody else."
Yeah.
And that motherfucker is a hunter, and he talks about that stuff. Now, back in some of the other chats, G-Webs would shoot down the idea of, say, Ted Nugent because somebody bumped him and, whatever his personal experience is. Focusing on those guys. The Bud Light whiplash that happened, here's Kid Rock. People open his doors for him, so to speak, but he is way down closer to the real deal, the common man kind of thing. And so finding the celebrities that fight back, I understand they're not going to want to join because they don't want to lose, the record buying public. I'm old, the listeners today, the Apple Music thing, who's trending with this, and for kids these days, for the youngsters these days, it's short attention span theater for everything. If they have to sit and listen for more than 60 seconds, 2 minutes, they're reduced down to that kind of time frame. So with the news cycle we have, it's everyday changes, and they want to hear it in 1 to 2 minute bites. Find the celebrities who don't mind the risk. Find somebody like Rogan. We found him. I think he's fucking great. A great idea for that. That's millions of people. That's a ridiculous number of people who can hear that stuff every day. Sorry, Tony, go ahead.
Rogan wants nothing to do with that short stuff. Rogan's in long form. And that long form stuff was fucking eye-opening with Trump and Van.
No doubt.
Yeah,
we can clip that stuff. If Rogan has something on his program that's particularly inspiring or useful, he's talking about one of his hunting experiences. It's just like, I bagged us a fucking elk. Those are the kind of things that you can clip. So you clip those, you stick it on YT Shorts, you put it on TikTok, you do whatever. And I don't know the machinations of these things, so don't tell me the problems with it, because I think that's been a damn good idea. Find celebrity. In real life, I'm preaching, you don't listen to them for your fucking views. You make up your own mind. But if the celebrity says, check this out, you may change your mind. I know sometimes I'm grasping at straws, but there are so many good ideas that I've run into in this conversations, in this inspiration. And another, I'll pass it back after this. The raid trains that I was talking about, jumping channel to channel. You can do that with your social media as well. 10 people are going to clip this, or one person's going to clip for this personality or this channel, this show kind of thing. And it's just like, we publish on Tuesday. You just whack them hard every damn Tuesday, or, you know, whatever is picked kind of thing. And all the, you know, and it's growing the folks. And man, I want it to happen. I'm not sure exactly how it does. I love this conversation. And Jimmy, you know, when you're just, you know, when you were trying to, you know, you're offering inspiration, you know, on the short term, we got to get people on our side that can get past short-term disappointment, whether it's the day, the week, the month, the year. Now, and I'll pass it back to you, Jimmy. Here's my gig. You start the kind of things I'm talking about now. You got 4 goddamn years. It's not to the next county election. That's a year. That kind of thing. That's how you get that growth period. You know, you develop that growth period in that 4 years, and then bam, if you're taking care of those things, the senators, the U.S. representatives, you can call. I'm sorry, Jimmy. I will try to pass it back to you, but you can call. Rock. You can call every state representative. Doesn't matter what state you live in. Now, I know nobody wants to sit there and dial a fucking number, blah, 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 blah. Okay, but go back to the idea, that inspiration I had a couple minutes ago. On Tuesdays, everybody calls another state. Say we get up to 50 fucking people. You trade for the state next to you. And on that Tuesday, you sit for, you know, 5 minutes. You get those 2 calls in. You're almost never going to talk to the individual, you know, the person, the elected official, but if you're leaving messages every day, they eventually see it. You become annoying. You become that grain of sand, the pea under the mattress. So if you start that thing and you're just like, boom, here I am, boom, here I am, boom, here I am, and you get enough people to do that, suppose one of us, and I might be that person, sits down on the weekend and leaves messages for every representative in every state. Yeah, it's a little grandiose. Granted, that's grandiose. But if you get the inspiration one day because some shitty thing has happened in your city, in your town, the state you live in, grab the states next to you. I mean, Nebraska is a hold. I'll give you an example and then pass it. I swear to God. Nebraska is a holdout for all marijuana laws. So we have a decrim that happened, but it's not enough. We don't have recreational. We don't have medical. We are that red state in the Midwest, mind you, that we won't accept that. No. Well, it's not even that voice. It's, we're not going to accept that. That's bad for the children kind of thing. Right. Oh, my God, with that. Jimmy, go.
I love the idea of having the phone call thing. I like one day on the weekend you call every single state. I mean, if you think about it, a 1 minute phone call, that's less of an hour's worth of work for somebody.
Hold on a second here. That's 435 House members and 100 senators.
Okay, so maybe it's a little bit more than an hour.
A lot of fucking phone
500 people call.
Okay, with a standard 2 days off expected, divide that number by 5 days. Divide it by 5. I'm not going to do the flash math. I can't do that bullshit. It's the littlest part. God damn it. You know, it's like, God damn it, folks.
Yeah. Tony's my number guy. He's got to do the math for me.
Mine was barbecue.
I did some of that with sending letters to multiples, and I got to the point where I was writing basically a form letter. And I would just cut and paste it, and because it took too fucking long to type them up.
Well, yeah.
The email addresses. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I could see that being, you know, that kind of getting defeated after a while. I could see that, but
like I said, I was impressed with Dick Durbin because he did respond, and I think he actually did it. It wasn't form letter sent back.
I got some responses to not only me but to the friends that I said I tried to find every one of my female friends that I could, and I told them about this, and I'm like, even if you don't carry, how are you going to protect yourself? And I give them like the scenario, any of the most recent scenarios, you know, use Las Vegas as one. What are you going to do? Use one of those shootings in a supermarket to start those conversations. I've been discouraged from it, you know, here and there and even in public kind of thing, from stopping and asking people the same question. When I see a dude with children though, Sometimes I will literally go up to a stranger and say, hey, man, if you got time for a couple questions, I'd love to give you an idea. I'm not going to pass you any flowers. I'm not going to ask you to sign a petition. I just got a question for you. And if they say, okay, go shoot. And I'm just like, you have the most precious thing in your life, GPB. You have the most precious thing that that you will ever have in your life. You want to protect that, right? Yeah. Where are you going with this? I'm going with this. In this store, you can't protect yourself with a firearm. Do you carry one? They give me the yes, no. And I said, in a minute, imagine, and I'll leave you alone. In 60 seconds, imagine one of those things is happening in this store. What are you going to do? That's a good one. It really is. That's a stop and think thing for some of those people. Some are just like, what the fuck? Fuck you. I'm one of those guys. I will go out there and do that shit, but I can't be the only one. And I'm not saying I'm the only one or I'm God's gift or whatever the fuck. But to me, that's an example. You find your friends with kids who don't carry or are on the fence, or even if they're like, hell no, kind of thing. I won't have them in my house. So what happens if somebody, what I'm saying? You give them the scenario. We deal with the scenarios. You're going to have to, your field of fire, what's behind it, residential. We talk about what's going to punch through drywall and hit the neighbor's house. We're talking about all those scenarios. So that's an example of ones that we got on lock. Here's this thing that you can put in front of people, so to speak, or not so to speak, that you can put in front of people. And Tony, God bless you for the math, man. But the cut and paste emails, and that's the same kind of grain of sand, grit, burr in the saddle. That's the same kind of thing. Do they begin to disregard it because you become some oh, it's that fucking weirdo again? Delete. Well, something's got to do it, and man. I'm all over the place.
That's what I was saying too. If you get, the one weirdo, that's going to be easy to ignore, I guess. But now you got 50 weirdos, and everybody's all saying the same thing. That makes it harder to ignore.
Agree.
And I don't really remember what I was doing the letters on anymore. It was back, 2016, 17.
Brace, Mr. Brace.
No, I didn't give fucking braces.
Well, I mean, going back.
Hold on, Tony. I want to call you to task on that, man. You don't give a fuck about braces, so you didn't write those letters. You didn't copy and paste those letters. Look at your apathy, dude. I'm not calling you out. I loved you, man. You're fucking awesome. You know what I'm saying? But it's that example, and so I called you. I called you out. Well, so what? Maybe I do. Somebody who's handicapped or whatever. Blah blah blah. So. With the best intentions, I call you out. My bad.
I actually think Trump was wrong on that whole fucking, to be honest. But like I say, that wasn't really in my wheelhouse at the time. I think it was the national reciprocity that whole fucking Vegas killed. But
well, another great example of that too would be like going back to what DJ was saying about walking up to people and asking them, this scenario, that scenario. Look at that. What was it last week sometime with that whole Seattle guy running around stabbing people for 2 days?
The thing of it is
no,
I live in Illinois, yes, which is exceptionally anti-gun, but I live in downstate in a extremely conservative county that had no Democrats on it except for Kamala on my ballot. There was only Republicans and 2 independents and then Kamala. So the anti-gun issue here locally is nothing.
Fucking hand clap that shit. Woohoo that shit. Fucking spread, call out to the Lord. That's awesome. How fucking awesome is that? That's a positive. That on the bad day for me on these things, that's a positive. Go ahead.
Well, that goes with about 80 counties in Illinois. The bulk of the counties in Illinois are conservative.
Yeah. It's the same thing here.
With Chicago.
I know it, man. I fucking hate that.
Yeah, it's the big cities that'll ruin everything.
I know. it was really close in my states, closer than I wanted it to be. It was 56-42. And 98%, it is those two fucking counties with the biggest population, mind you. And I've said this, I mentioned it before, so I don't want to go on with that because people are getting to get tired of my fucking voice, but damn it, dudes. And for the presidential election, I'll riff on Tony's county thing. We had the same thing, Kamala, but that was statewide. So statewide for that office kind of thing. Nobody, the other ones were either liberal, independent, or some other party. I think it was the Green Party, because they've been doing the petitions to get those marijuana laws changed. Back to you.
I don't understand the whole thing with marijuana being illegal, because I've known since I was 15 that it wasn't any worse than beer.
Well, I always feel like I've felt like it was a trap, because now on your 4473s, and it asks you if you use any illegal substances and you have a medical marijuana card and it's still federally illegal, and you say no, you're a liar, and I don't know what kind of charges come with lying on a 4473, but I'm sure that's not good.
Yeah, I've heard those conversations before. Wish it was that all of us had that entree. Go ahead.
We get to see what's going to happen there, because that's one of the things he got busted for, being addicted and lying on the 4473.
All right. Psst. I've lied on everyone then. But I'm not trying to flip things into a felony. I don't want to have to go through the restoration of my rights. I don't want them taken away for a single fucking minute, and they should across the board. They should not, kind of thing. You're right, Jimmy. And it's that one. There are a couple of reform bills that are Senate bills, and they get whacked every time. And it's just like, I've been doing the hope thing. Tony, you knew when you were 15, I joined Normal when I was a high school kid. I wasn't, before I even smoked, I was. Anyway, go ahead.
I suppose we're starting to get past the old school Republicans to where we might see some change in the drug laws, because there is a certain amount of evidence that psychedelics help with PTSD. Great. I don't know that much about the stuff, but just from listening to Rogan, it makes me want to look into it.
I've heard similar stuff with psilocybin and mushroom type thing. I've heard similar things.
Yes, absolutely. Boomers. That's one of those things. But that personal experience thing, Tony, you know about it. We on the panel know about it. I get, by the time DJ's done, you're going to have 50 fucking things to do, but pick 2 of them, pick 3, pick 6 and win the lottery. Go ahead, Tony.
I've taken acid. I found it somewhat amusing, but I haven't had PTSD for anything. So maybe. I don't know. If it helps troubled vets, I think that it should be completely legal.
Yes, sir.
Now, granted, I don't know how you judge somebody who's not able to handle it. Will fuck somebody up. Their mind's not able to deal with what happens with stuff.
And most of the service people who are coming into VA is federal. That might be one of those things where you get an anchor point because of, adding psilocybin, adding this, attempting to at least and beginning that thing. It's the younger generation that was overseas. They're going to know that, fucking boomers, you had vets in Vietnam smoking, kind of thing. And I'm not trying to tell everybody to smoke fucking pot or take any, drugs or whatever, and it's be your own self. But there's the VA. Here's a new generation. Here's maybe that sort of influence kind of thing. And I think, and I would like to think, Jimmy, that then it begins to tap on the federal. It begins to tap on the senators. And maybe, check this out, it comes with a presidential backing.
Yeah.
Wow.
That would be something.
Anyway,
Well,
Mhm.
you know,
Go
to go a little different here, I would say everybody should try pot once. Get an edible, 10 milligram edible, go to your house, try it.
Shot.
I just did an edible about a month ago and it didn't fucking do nothing.
That's because you only did 10 milligrams.
I was disappointed. Well,
You're gonna have to get some better edibles because
Yeah.
I take a gummy
It was
every
free.
night, and let me tell you, it sits there and knocks me the fuck out.
Mm.
I really like my sleep and having kids. I've been sleep deprived, but thanks to finding gummies, I sleep like I haven't had kids, and it's wonderful.
Oh yeah, I'm out. Like a rock.
There's a mom's experience, you know, and you know, here's testimony from two people. Here's a suggestion that you open up your minds. And to touch on that generation thing one more time, because I mentioned Vietnam, boomers. Once we push past boomers, then because they're the generation where it was the, you know, free love and pot and acid and every other damn thing, and then they decided it's the me generation. You know, they're out there to corporate America, everybody ends up in a fucking cubicle, the way that shit happened. But hippies should have passed that on to Gen X. Most of us are hip to that, and every generation, you know, below, you know, after that comes after Gen X, they most definitely know about that shit. And one of the things that I have seen, and I'm just like, I don't want to use this because they're minors, man. But when younger people, the vape thing, I mean, I got a fucking Rolly here. I'm smoking that. I chain smoke. But kids, I've known this from parents and a few that I've talked to, they get the pens. And so they're popping that for reals. And yeah, man. And that's something you can walk around with impunity. Nobody's going to clock you for having a fucking vape. Now, don't pass them out, whatever. Don't help people break the law. But you could talk about that shit. And the convincing thing, one of the shows, it was Jack White at Red Rocks. I saw this old lady take out a cookie. I knew what it was, kind of deal. And she kind of held it closer to her body. She pulled it back. And I'm like, you go ahead, but I might ask you if you got another for me. This woman was so great. This woman was a little bit younger. Could have been my mom's younger sister.
Mikey
Late
and
60s,
Chad
early-
saying I've almost never done drugs.
I just had to laugh at that one for a second.
Mm-hmm. I don't believe that at all.
I was this close to never doing drugs.
Me too, Mikey.
All right, let's get some final thoughts in here and wrap this up, because this has really been a good discussion and we have had some really good ideas. I got to get to class at 10:30, so I'm gonna wrap this up and start getting ready. What are some final thoughts, final solutions, final conclusions, maybe ideas? Everybody has. We could start. Let me see on my Discord. Let's start with DJ. Go to Gunpowder, go to Night Strike, go to Tony, and then I'll go. So go ahead.
Plant those seeds in the most fertile ground that you can find. It's your friends, it's your family, it's everybody that you know by extension. If they're your friend already, they'll be your friend if they get pissed off even, they'll be your friend tomorrow. The good ones. And so with those little seeds, find the fertile ground, let them grow, and then you can start casting those seeds into the ground that isn't so fertile. You can land your seed on the rock. If you're Christian, you know what I'm talking about. You can do all of those things. And so that's what I encourage people to do. You know, don't do it at Thanksgiving table, okay? But why not in some other thing? And before I let you go, if you're in crisis or know someone who is, dial 988, or you can punch up 1-800-273-TALK. If you don't want to talk, then you can text. There's the modern generation, right? The word talk to 741-741. You can get assistance there. Local help is always available. Reach out. Someone cares. Be safe, have fun, carry your guns and rock. I'm out.
Thank you,
Thanks,
sir.
man.
Gunpowder, any final words you want to get to the people?
Well, how am I supposed to follow that?
Was pretty good.
Follow that.
speak ideas that you think.
Share the link, and everybody have a great day.
Yeah, we loved having you. Thank you. Strike, hit me with something.
I'm gonna go with my old favorite. Shut up, be infringed.
God, I ain't heard that for about a year.
There you go.
Tone, any ideas? How are we going to carry on with the early watch in the future? I know you want to do more than one day. Give me some ideas here.
Well, if we're legitimately going to go back into the quote unquote activism side of it, we need more than a day. And now I think that with the change in the political landscape, it will be easier to look at news.
So, if we were to do, and you guys can have, well, Gunpowder Beardy left, but we could, you guys have some input on this too if you want. So, let's just say we did, grab a pen. Let's just say we did Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, right? So, Monday.
I don't want 3, just 2, Monday and Friday.
Okay, so Monday and Friday. So, would Monday would be, I would say Friday would be the planning day, and then Monday would be coming back with what we did. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. How would we work? Like, would there be certain themes for Monday and Friday? Like Monday, we plan what we do for the week. Friday, we say what we executed. That type of shit? Or
Nah, I don't want to make it like a schedule thing.
Okay.
I don't want to put pressure on people like that.
Okay.
We can split them. One day could be activism related, and second day could be news or gun news.
Okay.
My whole crux on the activism is going to be pro-gun. Because, there's been a couple of times I've fucked up, like with the bum stock. I should have followed that a little bit better than I did. And back in the original 94 assault weapons ban, I didn't give a flat fucking that. I really didn't.
Yeah. But I mean, we've grown and learned since then, though. Now we know that any infringement on the Second Amendment is an infringement on the Second Amendment, period.
Yes, exactly. And, that was, I was probably 50 before I really came to that. There's certain things about it that I've been staunchly opposed to, like felons being barred forever. They're safe enough to be out of jail. They're safe enough to be able to buy a fucking gun. They ain't safe enough to buy a gun. They shouldn't be out of jail.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, we got some good ideas going. We definitely had a great conversation today. This was our little, I guess, after-election special or whatever. But definitely got some things to think about. Definitely got some things to move forward. Gizzard says, give him the bird. Oz, bark at the moon. Famous last words.
While we're still in here, I want to ask you a question. Kind of an important thing.
Yeah.
When I wrote it down here. And this is about early voting, because it's a bunch of it. Is early voting a dumb idea due to the possibility of major events happening after you've sent your ballot?
Oh, like you vote for somebody
Tony,
and all of a sudden they change their position on something and you're stuck with that vote? Is that what you kind of saying?
Yes.
Okay.
I voted early.
Well, speak to Tony's question.
I voted early, but only like, a few days, like 2 or 3 days before the election. But
suppose the night before the election, Trump comes out and says, "I'm going to ban all guns."
Well, I don't think that would happen. But the fact is,
that's why I said suppose.
The vote's already been cast. There's not really anything you can do about it.
That's my point.
Tony's asking, would you do it, kind of thing, and how would that happen? I mean, I think that for the panel at least, I can say that those would be red votes, and oh my God, think about what it would take to get us to flip. Tony just came up with the crisis one sort of deal, and Night Strike. It doesn't matter if you don't think it's going to happen. You got to deal with the hypothetical. Right.
Well, I would be unhappy that I voted the way I voted. Yeah, sure.
That brings us back to the question, should you vote early?
I mean, if you can vote early, if it's going to impede your.
I have never voted early because of that hypothetical situation.
The only
in my mind.
The only reason that I think that early voting is at all applicable is if you're incapable of making it down to the booth. If you're an older
like
person
if you're a soldier overseas.
Well, yeah, that too. But I'm speaking more to like older people or handicapped people or that kind of thing. But yeah, that makes sense
Right.
too.
No, I get what you're saying, but this leads to the next point. If you voted early and a candidate does that, you really have no recourse of changing your vote, do you?
Well, I mean, I guess what if their policies change immediately after election anyway? What if they're when they get
impeached?
Yeah.
Yeah, because that worked so well against Trump the first time around, right?
That depends on how many people are standing outside with guns and pitchforks and torches.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
This is true. This is true.
All right.
I was only asking the question on early voting because they pushed it so much this year.
Yeah, I don't.
Well, yeah, they had to push early voting because nobody was going to allow mail-in ballots anymore.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Have a great day.
Agreed.
I wasn't going to add a half hour to the conversation with that, really. I just wanted to ask the question.
No, it's cool. I still got
good.
time. You're fine. Yeah, with that, everybody, we will. I'm not gonna guarantee a Friday, but I think that we're gonna start doing it at least 2 days a week.
Any other day would be fine, really, except I don't know, Tuesday.
No, I mean
No, I
Friday.
don't care. What?
Friday would work fine with me. You know what? Fuck it. We'll just do one on Friday this week coming up. So we'll see you guys Friday.
All right.
DJ, I appreciate you coming. I appreciate Broody too. I know she left, but that's fine. Appreciate it. And we'll see you guys Friday. Bye.
And just remember, folks, Jimmy was saying he was going to retire after the election. He only come on here and started this again because of the election.
Yeah, I did.
Because
say
the
that.
election went so well.
I did say that, but I kind of like what DJ was alluding to. Well, not alluding to. He said it. There's more work that needs to be done. We didn't win forever. We won the battle, but the war rages on.
The war's not over.
Yeah. So with that, everybody, we will see you later. Thanks for the fucking turnout today. It was pretty good. So we'll see you guys on Friday. Bye.
Have a good one, folks.
Rock.
You're working